everybody. Welcome to Patriot Nightcap. It's so good to be back. I'm going to very specifically call this wonderful show our high frequency soul sister show. And I think it's very appropriate as I am on with Sandra Biskind. And you will know her from a past show that we had. Do you have your book with you, Sandra, by chance?
Not at the moment, no.
That's okay.
I can grab a copy for you.
Grab a copy okay. So we can see that. And then I'm also on with Dr. Lindsay Miuccio. You know her from one of my other shows as well. We had a delightful conversation also with Laura Eisenhower. And then Jody Crumbly, my dear, wonderful Patriot friend. So we're all here to kind of just share some tips and just to say, you know, listen, you can live your life in bliss, even in these chaotic times, right? Because I've certainly tried to strike a balance with that, and I think I'm getting better at it. And thank you, Sandra. You've really helped me with that too. Sort of take more of a neutral, I don't know, point of view, that rather than just react. I think I can be very reactive sometimes. But so my little tip for the day is basically just detox your house, just go natural, go back to nature and the things that were intended for us. One time I had my daughter grab the dish soap and she filled up her little bathtub with bubbles. And I was just very thankful from a mother's point of view that I had gone toxic free, because there's thousands of poison calls called in yearly to poison control centers on a lot of the big box stores. And I am very thankful that I don't support them, and I vote with my dollars, and I'm keeping my family healthy and safe. And Jody, if you will sort of expound on that as well, and then, you know, maybe we'll just flow over to Sandra next. Jody, if you want to take the floor.
Okay, thank you. So being a part of this non-toxic plant-based movement that's also patriotic, where things are made in the USA, I started using the products, and I was excited because when I was cleaning my bathroom, I didn't have to come in and out and try to ventilate the bathroom because there was this bleach smell and these toxic smells. And it came to me that when I started using these natural non-toxic products, that I was conditioned to think I needed to smell toxic chemicals to tell me that something's clean, because I liked the smell of the cleaners before. And I would walk in my house and say, wow, you know, I just cleaned, it smells like, you know, specific name brands. And I was like, you know, that's not what we're supposed to smell. We're supposed to look at our house. It's supposed to smell clean as far as like essential oils or what you're cooking and things like that, but it's supposed to look clean. It's not supposed to smell toxically clean. Right. And so that was something that was really important to me because I have asthma, and it was a chore to clean the bathroom and the kitchen and stuff. And so now I actually am more able to clean it without feeling frustrated that I have to go in and out of my bathroom. So that was really helpful for me. And because it's non-toxic and plant-based, I feel good about using them with my puppy and my son as well. So that's very important to me.
It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to keep your family safe. And by the way, we'll have all the links provided for everybody in our show at the end of the show. Sandra, please hold up your book, because I think that's very important that everybody sees.
Discover the password to unlock the best version of you. But one of the things I love, as much as I love the book, is that we realized that people were going to go through this platinum life system, and they were going to use it, and they were going to write in it. They were going to do all sorts of there's your ego puppy that we all have, right? That we're training. So, you know, they were going to write in it and keep it for years because it's a system. And so what we did was created the journal. And this is one of the most beautiful journals I have ever seen. Say she, but it's the entire system and all of these brilliant tools to raise your consciousness, your frequency, in order to stay neutral when we're being triggered day in, day out. I mean, more than ever now, we're being triggered. I love what you just said, Jody. I mean, it's so easy to get triggered by smells for a start, right? And you get triggered by a smell, and if it's toxic, it actually creates a toxicity within your own emotional body. So what you girls are talking about could not be more important. And Lindsay and I have actually learned about and discovered a system that you know, you talked about big box, right, and really all of that. Well, what if big pharma no longer needed to be a part of our life? And there's a number of ways to do this. I know Lindsay will talk about one of them, but light energy frequency, that's why we called ourselves the high frequency soul sisters, because there's a number of ways that you can do this. You can stay in a very low frequency, which is fear, and that's like living in this really fun third dimensional reality but not having much fun. And that's because you're in fear, you're worried, you're actually no longer in a platinum state of being, right? Or you can raise your frequency, become a high frequency 5D frequency person, where you're now in your 3D world and you're having maximum fun. Like you choose the code you're in. We all have heard this. We're all energy. You are a sovereign being, and you are the only one that can choose to master your frequency. When you master your frequency, you will master the abundance code, the love code, the relationship code. Like it'll just be, you'll obviously gravitate to non-toxic everything. I mean, it'll just be like a, no, what's that smell? It's not happening in my house, right? It'll just, because that's what a high frequency being does. It just intuitively knows that this old everything, these old systems don't work. So a couple of things that what you can do to raise your frequency very, very quickly. You can meditate. And believe me, when I started meditating 45 years ago, I understood something very clearly, that if I couldn't master my frequency, I was going to go broke because my business was going under. And the moment I started meditating through guided visualizations, lots of healing hands, my businesses became very, very different. I became like a magnet to people, and people are going, oh, but I just want to be here. It just feels so good, right? That's the frequency. It feels good. I'm going to harp back at this, but when you clean your house with the products you're talking about, Jody, it feels good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all, this is all about this higher awareness, and A is the awareness is the A in platinum. So it's all about this higher awareness. You start to meditate, you start to become more mindful and aware of how you and your home is affecting the world and affecting yourself, and all of a sudden you start making different decisions. So meditation and being able to control your frequency, master your frequency, is so important. And you know, I'm doing a free, since COVID, this has become pretty important, because we've always said we all need this more than ever, right? But more than ever, we really do need this, that we're being triggered over and over and over again by the things we hear, see, smell. So the first month of COVID, my husband and I started a free global healing meditation journey. So every Tuesday at 2 p.m, you can join us for 30 minutes only. It's like this quick break from the 3D reality that you've been in, like doing the taxes, dealing with the kids, whatever it is that you're doing. And you reset and realign your frequency to a higher state. It's almost like coming to, and Lindsay, you'll agree with this, it's like coming to a spiritual filling station where you plug in, whether you're an electric car or a gas, you plug in and you get what you need, and it is completely free. It's a part of your own beingness, that you're on a journey within you. And it is one of the most beautiful things you can do. And of course, Lindsay is going to tell you about the patch system that we've got. I was just going to do this and say it's like here, and I'm going, no, hang on, it's not there, it's here. Can you see this?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So Lindsay will talk more about that. But so what I have discovered is that there's another way to raise your frequency. There's another way to heal for your body to actually be activated to heal itself without injections, burning, cutting, big pharma drugs or anything. And that's by putting on one tiny patch. So before I turn it over to Lindsay, I need to say this, because most of you know Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
And Tony Robbins is yelling, right? You guys know him, and he's got this new book out called Life Force. I don't know if you've seen it yet or not.
I've actually been to a few Tony Robbins seminars, so I'm very much aware of Tony Robbins. Yes.
Well, you know how forceful he is and how
Yes.
much
He's about massive action for sure.
Okay, massive action. Okay, so
by the way, I would just like to interject one thing. I'm 100% in agreement with you with the plugging yourself in. Like, I can't imagine. I do that every morning, like before I step foot out of my bed, you know. So my parents, they raised us very, you know, with prayer and praying and Christ. And that is the first thing I do in the morning to just get me centered. And I feel like I can't imagine not doing that, you know? So,
well, that's part of your filling station, right?
Yes.
And especially if you're bringing Jesus into it, it's like,
yes.
oh, well, that's the highest possible frequency in the cosmos, right? So if you're calling on that, and you're just acknowledging that, everything, your cellular structure, everything changes because there's a joy that comes with it, right?
Yeah.
I bet you smile when you do that.
Center. Yeah. So wait, you were saying you do this on Tuesdays at what time?
Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific.
Okay.
And I allow, by the way, having been a medium all of my life, Jesus did start talking to me when I was 3. I allowed Jesus and all these divine beings just to come through and download this meditation journey for you. So it's not like I spend hours preparing, which you probably think, well, she should. But the fact is, when you have that high frequency connection, you don't need it. You just simply tune into the group and you know exactly what needs to be said, because I just wait for the words. And I think for all of you, everyone can do this, by the way. Lindsay, I know you do this too. It's like you're using your higher awareness to tap into what you need to know. And by the way, everybody, if you do that, that's another way of raising your frequency and really mastering your own life. So getting back to Tony Robbins for a minute, and
go for it.
He's out there. He's on every television show. I saw him on Fox News the other night. Like, he's everywhere, and he's saying stem cells, stem cells, stem cells.
Oh, right.
And I'm going, yeah, Tony, for sure. Like, my girlfriends have spent anywhere from $2,500 to $25,000 on stem cells. And I'm looking at him and going, Tony, do you have any idea that what you're talking about is already obsolete technology? That putting a needle into your system, drawing out your blood, you know, swelling it up, taking the stem cells out and putting them back in, is like, it almost feels archaic to me when you can take this little patch, like I've got on the back, like we're all wearing, you can take this little patch, put it on, and the patch uses your own light, energy and frequency system to regenerate brand new stem cells. It actually has been clinically proven to reset 4,000 of your genes back to a younger, healthier, stronger state. And that's why, for me, and Lindsay, I know you've been wearing these for a while too, that's why we look so much younger than what we are. Well, I'll speak for myself. You're already gorgeous and young. You know, for somebody who is many, many, many decades older, I just don't feel it on any level. My whole beingness doesn't feel it. I was even in the pool yesterday. I'm going to be really naughty and tell you this. I was in the pool the other day, and I had this older guy swimming beside me. He got out and he came back. And there was this 28-year-old guy in the pool as well. The older guy came back and he tried to start talking to me, but I was swimming and exercising and praying. And the young guy goes, when he leaves, he goes, he had a crush on you. I said, oh. I said, really? He said, yeah, and in that bikini, any man would be crazy not to. And I've looked at this 28-year-old and I've thought, I am 40 years older than you, but I'm not going to tell you that. Like, I am 40 years older than you. Stop talking about my hot bikini, right?
Fantastic.
So, I mean, look, you know what? This is called the fun part of 3D living, right?
Yeah.
It's because we're not toxic. It's because we're not buying into the big pharma, the big box, the big anything, because we have a very different consciousness. Okay, I could talk for a week about that. Lindsay.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. That.
Amazing.
Yeah, I love it. Love the bikini story.
Yes.
I couldn't wait to come back and tell my husband about these two guys that were hitting on his wife because of her bikini.
Got to share those stories.
Right.
Lindsay.
So to touch on cleaning with essential oils and the change, I noticed that the energy is much lighter when you walk into the
Yeah.
place, you know, that's clean. So it's like an energetic, what would you say, Sandra?
Well,
I
it
also
is
clean-
an energetic cleanse for sure. I mean, you're really cleaning the energy in the room. So, you know, that's as important as cleaning the energy in your system.
Yes, absolutely. So there's that, and then the meditations that Sandra offers. So today I was in the middle of paperwork. I'm like knee deep in paperwork over here. And Sandra's notification popped up that your meditation's starting in 15 minutes. And I was like, I'm so busy. I don't know. I'm not sure if I can do it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, Lindsay, just log on and hit the button. And I did. And within minutes, you like sink into this peaceful state. And I was like, oh yes, thank God I hit, go live and listen, because it really does, it does change your frequency. And that's that shift. It doesn't have to take years of meditation on top of a mountain, being a hermit, living as a vegetarian, to shift your state. It really only takes a second, an instant. Right, Sandra?
Right. And I remember Tony Robbins, he talks about that a lot. You can change your state of mind like that. You don't have to live in a place of freak out frustration. You really don't. You can change it like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so important to realize that you have that power,
Yeah, absolutely. And then also to touch on Sandra's, how powerful they are. When I go to the 3-day events and I come back and I'm treating patients, they're like, where were you? You're glowing.
Oh,
Yes. And I'm like, because you're glowing. It's the energy, and so much has come off of you, and you've released and transformed and transmuted. And I always tell them I was with Sandra, and it's like sitting at the gates of heaven.
Sitting
Thank
in the
you,
gates of
sweetheart.
heaven.
Well, you also have the extra added bonus now that you're using the patches, which means that you're getting that because you were on with David Schmidt, who is an American scientist, made in the USA product, which I know is so important to all of us. Yeah. And he talks about that. I said, how does the patch work? Lindsay's got some to show you. And I said, why is it that we feel high and enlightened and we go into these beautiful frequency states? And he said, well, because the patch gives information to the body. The information goes to the pineal gland first, then to the rest of the body. The pineal gland is the doorway to the divine. So now we have a healing product, no drugs, no chemicals, no big pharma, no doctors, and we've got this thing that changes our entire body's ability to move back into its original divine blueprint and to heal on a deep cellular level. Incredible. Have you got something to show, Lindsay?
So my favorite one is the Nirvana one. It's for anxiety. And that's how I cope with all this. I just stick one on, and then the light bounces from your body, from your cells off the patch to your body and your brain. It tells it what to do. So there's all different ones, but they're absolutely outstanding. And so that's what I'm using to cope with our little.
So, Lindsay, you put that Nirvana patch on your vagus. That's the vagus nerve. Is that right?
Yeah, you could say that. So I put it up here.
What's it?
So similar to
The what?
like
the largest nerve in the body. True.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when you put it here, the whole body, the whole system is being activated right there. And Nirvana, what Lindsay's talking about, I love that you're using that patch. I wouldn't think
my
to do
favorite
that.
one.
It activates the 6 happiness endorphins in your brain, which includes dopamine, which activates the production of collagen, which means that when you're wearing it, a number of things. First of all, your skin is getting thicker. My eyes look like I've had an eye lift, and it also lengthens telomeres. Like a whole lot of these patches lengthen telomeres. So if any of you understand this, and I didn't, but our telomeres shorten with age, and that's at the end of the DNA, right? It's the part of the DNA.
And stressful events. Pregnancy will shorten your telomeres the most, and the most dramatically and the fastest.
Right, and it's why we age, or it's why we look like we age. And in the past, if your telomeres are shorter, guess what? Your history. You're just going to get the wrinkles and age, and that's all. Now, with these made in the USA incredible light energy patches, they lengthen your telomeres back to this younger, healthier state. There's nothing else on the planet that does it. No wonder it's called Nirvana. But my favorite, Lindsay, on my back is the stem cell regeneration patch. I have to tell you why this is my favorite. You guys might know this, but scientists for the last 6 decades have been trying to work out how to activate copper peptide. Now, copper peptide is essential to life, actually, and when you activate copper peptide, and these have been clinically proven to do that the minute you put it on your skin, the blood is now got copper peptide running through it. A number of things happen. First of all, copper peptide elongates telomeres and starts the regeneration process of stem cells, and it's a hostile environment to viruses. And so when you're wearing X39, which is activating copper peptide, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's the peptide's there. You probably can't see it. That's it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, when that's activated, this is like a first line of defense for COVID and all of the other crap going around the planet. And it's strengthening your immune system, better sleep, stronger muscles, weight loss, you name it. Because when you're younger, you feel invincible, right? And then from 25 onwards, what happens? You don't realize it. It's a bit sneaky. But from 25 onwards, all of our stem cells start degrading. And then you've got oxidative stress, you've got motherhood, you've got everything else. And so by the time you get to 50, there's not many stem cells left, 60-year history, until you start using
I know, and I mean, you try so hard. It's like you try to keep an alkaline state, you try to drink your greens, you try to stay natural, and everything you put on your skin goes into your bloodstream in 30 seconds. So you're trying to stay toxin free. So this makes sense. This is like I mean, really, we're all like kind of, this is like taking it to maybe another level, but it's all the same thing, the same sort of synergy talk, I guess, if you will. Does that make sense?
Tricia, it's exactly the same, because you can't, if you've got a consciousness that we all have, and it's very interesting, a lot of patriots do have this consciousness. I find this quite interesting, and I'm not sure what the correlation is, but there's an awake, we're not oblivious to a whole lot of things that a lot of other people are oblivious to. Got it? And
definitely. Well, it's definitely for me about freedom of choice. Like, don't take that away, or freedom of speech.
Exactly. So if you go to a doctor, you no longer have a choice, because, and when you go to a hospital with COVID, you're almost history enough. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but the fact is that when you start patching up and you have a clean environment and a clean mind, and you're keep getting your immune system as strong as you can possibly have it, by your environment, by what you put into your skin, eat, drink, with the light energy patch system, you have a very different awareness, and that goes, like, your children notice. I was patching up my daughter the other day in Novato, and her little twin girls, and the 4-year-old came up to me and said, "I want one of those."
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I said, "Really?" And this 4-year-old's been a very angry, frustrated little boy, and I said, "Do you really?" And he said, "I do. Give it to me." Like, no, please, or thank you.
Like, I need this.
So I told me where I could put it, and I did, and you could just see this. This kind of calm came over him. That was the Eon patch, Lindsay, which is about emotional trauma, stress, and inflammation. Now, a lot of kids, I heard today that one child who's really angry, really upset, actually loses it all of the time. He's only 4. The mother puts the patch in his pocket when he goes to school.
Oh, really? Oh.
It's his secret. He's his secret. So it's his secret patch that he puts in his pocket, which he's really excited about because he's got the secret, right? And the patch. They don't even peel the back off the patch and stick it on the skin. It just goes in his pocket. And after about a week, he was coming home. The teachers are saying he's so calm, he's a different boy, he's no longer losing at school, and he was no longer.
This is very interesting because I think probably to a lot of people who watch this and they're not so, maybe not open, I think for the most part, our audience is, but because how many parents will just automatically throw their kids on medication, Ritalin, whatever, and
Bribe them.
Yeah. And I remember my parents just saying like, no, because really children are meant to they're supposed to be running around like and being children, but we're so quick to, put them on Ritalin, put them on something, which would really be damaging to them,
Yeah.
Well, now you get like brilliant children in our day were just brilliant children. They weren't ADD, they weren't this, they weren't that. They were just brilliant children. And now if you take your kids to the doctor and they give you a diagnosis, and all of a sudden the diagnosis means you get drugs or whatever, and the child's no longer the child. But imagine if you had a system that didn't involve anything like that your brilliant child who's a wonderful artist, who's out there as a leader or who's whatever, but they have their anger and frustration under control because they're not angry and frustrated about everything that they're seeing, feeling and going through, which is what they do, right? They know what's going on in the world. They don't have to watch the news to know. Kids pick up energy.
Yeah, you never know what's going on at home, but I think also the certain structures, I don't know, they're not meant for every child, some children are like, they completely reject that and they're miserable. I was talking to a principal the other day. She said, oh, this child hates school. I said, what do you hate school? That's such a strong word. I was like, really? And I'm thinking, well, okay, because I don't know, I come from a teacher principal family and my mom was just such a brilliant teacher. She knew how to just bring the best out in her children and they loved to learn. So then I thought, well, maybe the teacher's just quite boring. I told her that. I said, maybe the teacher's boring. Maybe that kid is actually bored and that child is really smart.
Yes.
And that teacher, because how many times have we seen that? And it's the kid's fault, and I don't believe that.
Well, I think a teacher saying this kid hates school is very interesting because I'd like to know what triggers off the behavior in the child. That they think that the child hates school, because there's triggers happening. What's the trigger? Is the child being bullied? Can the child understand what's going on? Is the child bored? Like, I bet there's a whole heap of things that have been triggered off in the unconscious mind in that child, and the child's going like danger, or I don't want to be here, or whatever. But a communication with the child would actually find out what's really going on, and then the child might need this Eon stress reducing patch, or quite frankly, I would say that a lot of children these days need the Nirvana one that you just put on, Lindsay, because they're feeling stressed, their parents are stressed, there's all of this stuff going on and they're not happy. But can you imagine if without a drug, you could induce their own body to produce the happiness endorphins?
Can I ask you something? Do you drink alcohol? Is that something that you?
Oh, yes.
I know, because I can imagine myself. I know a lot of people who say like, yeah, I get that feeling and that blissful feeling when I drink alcohol, but it's
entirely different. So when you're drinking alcohol,
but I mean, it's all an escape.
Alcohol, first of all, is a natural depressant when you drink.
Yeah, the next day for sure.
It's really, really not good for your skin, for your liver, for everything. Like, Lindsay, you could probably go into that more than me.
Well, because you're ingesting poison. Yeah.
Exactly. However, I used to have like a drink or two every night of a really beautiful Chardonnay, but now I don't have it every night, but I have it when I want it. And it's like, it's almost like it doesn't do anything for me anymore because I'm in this very high state, this high place, and so I don't need it as an emotional thing. And that's where we want to get our kids, right? Or every adult. You want to have a glass of wine, a beautiful glass of wine with your meal, or a scotch, or whatever it is your favorite thing is, great. But if you want to go into oblivion and use
Yeah.
alcohol or drugs to do it, you've got a huge problem that you need to look at and work with.
Mhm.
Anytime you use a substance to get happy, you must ask yourself, okay, what am I unhappy about? What am I sad about? What do I
Sure.
need to change?
Why am I trying to numb myself? Yeah.
Exactly. But if you're having this as a social thing or something that is like, wow, isn't this beautiful? This is a very different scenario. But again, that's why I would say, and I'm not a doctor, Lindsay is definitely a doctor. And Lindsay, what would you say with using the Nirvana and the Eon for people who are, and even X39 who have addictions? I think we've had some really good things happen there, haven't we?
Yeah, it also takes the edge off. It's that emotional response, that in Chinese medicine, it's the moving of the qi. It's called liver qi stagnation, and why people want to either over exercise or to drink is to move the energy, move the qi. So it's another way with the patches. And also to touch back on with the kids, it's also why it's so important, your ingredients, to keep everything toxic free, to keep them.
I love that. Move the chi.
Move the qi.
I purposely did not go to a meeting yesterday, and I went to Orange Theory to move the chi, and I felt much better when I came out.
Yes.
And then you texted me, you're like, the energy that I have is amazing.
Yeah, I did. I did. It's important to do that. You need balance in your life,
Yeah.
Yes.
When I clean my house, I'll often move the furniture around. And I'll go, how does that feel? And it's like, oh, that feels good. I think everybody needs to start asking yourself, how does that feel?
Yes.
How does it feel? Because you're an energy frequency being, and it's all about feeling. And if you're not tapping into what you're feeling, you're only tapping into what you're thinking, and that can get you into a lot of trouble.
Yep. So same with food, the people that you hang out with, the
Yeah.
places you hang out. Absolutely. How
It
does
all
it feel?
affects you. Well, on that note, I think that this was just lovely. And I want to thank you ladies for coming on because, and I love the whole Nirvana and the title of the show is definitely the High Frequency Soul Sisters Tips, because I think that's appropriate as we try to just balance this chaotic world and live our best lives. And as Tony Robbins would say, take some massive action. So whatever that is for you, detox your house, do something to make yourself feel better, get some balance in your life. God bless. Hold the line, everybody, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.